Welcome to a Nintendo Switch news roundup. The first piece of news which I will be covering is about EA. They said that they will be putting one of their bigger games on the Switch. This is what the CFO of EA, Blake Jorgensen, had to say about that. In terms of Nintendo, in their announcement, they announced that we'll be supporting with a game or two on that new platform. We haven't yet announced what game, but you should assume that it's one of our bigger games we've been involved with. Now, what Blake Jorgensen has to say about the Switch in general may give us a big clue on what that game could be. So this is what he had to say about the Switch in general. We're excited for Nintendo, it's an interesting device, but I can't yet predict how broad it's going to be, and will people be interested in a portable device alongside their regular portable device that they have. Now it's interesting how he refers to the Switch as a portable device, so that might give us a clear indication on what they will be putting on the Switch. Maybe they will be putting stuff that they normally do on their handhelds on the Switch. And the main thing that is coming to my mind, like the most realistic option I see here, is FIFA, just because it works for both the handheld and it works for the TV bit as well, just because they put FIFA games on the PSP, the PS Vita, the DS, the 3DS as well. So it kind of makes sense for them to bring over FIFA. So that's kind of the realistic option that I'm thinking about at this moment in time. But what I personally want to see is Titanfall 2. And I know a lot of other people out there want to see Mass Effect Andromeda as well, but we did get a rumour a few weeks ago now talking about Mass Effect Andromeda on the Switch. I don't think that is likely. I'll leave a link to that video in the top right, but I think another option they could do is put over the Star Wars Battlefront Deluxe Edition, just because Star Wars Battlefront 2 from EA is supposed to come out a few months after, like in the November of 2017. So maybe they could put over Star Wars Battlefront Deluxe with all of the DLC. Maybe they could put that over at launch, but I think the most realistic option is FIFA. But I think it is interesting what he had to say there. It kind of sounds like that EA won't be developing that many games for the Switch, or especially at launch. They aren't going to be bringing over many games. It sounds like we are only going to be getting one or two EA games at launch. Maybe that might be the case for the rest of the year as well. But yeah, let me know the game that you want to see from EA the most at launch, and let me know another game you want to see maybe later on in the year as well. So yeah, that's just it for that news story. The next piece of news which I will be talking about is something which came in from Emily Rogers and then Laura Kate Dale backed this up earlier today. Emily Rogers has said that Zelda Breath of the Wild will not be coming out in March due to localization issues, just because there's so much text, there's so many NPCs in that massive open world. And then after that, once I have done all of the localization, the game needs to be tested, and due to how big the game is, that will take about 4 to 6 months. So she is saying don't expect it at launch, and this is something which I did say back in a video on the 22nd of July. I'll leave a link to that video in the top right. I kind of said that maybe Breath of the Wild will not be at the Switch launch, just because the date listed was just 2017. It never had a March 2017 release date. People assumed that it would come out on the same day as the Switch itself. So I know a lot of people are saying, oh my god, Zelda Breath of the Wild delayed again. Well, Nintendo haven't necessarily given us a specific date, so it can't really be delayed when all what they gave us was just a generic 2017 date. So there was always that possibility there for it to be not coming out at launch. So yeah, my stance has sort of changed since that video, just because in that video I did say, oh, I think it would be a bad thing if Breath of the Wild didn't come out at the Switch launch. I think the Switch should get delayed to when Breath of the Wild is ready. But I didn't really assume that Mario was as ready or close to being ready as it is. It seems like that will be the big launch title. So for me, we've waited long enough for Breath of the Wild. I'd rather Nintendo spend the time to polish the game out, get rid of as many bugs as possible, because the people complaining about Breath of the Wild getting delayed, or supposedly getting delayed past the launch of the Switch, will be the first ones to complain about the amount of bugs in the game. So I rather wait that few extra months so that the game can be as good as it can possibly be. But yeah, in terms of the launch of the Switch, obviously it is a massive blow, but it's not the end of the world. I know some people are saying, oh, it's dead on arrival, it's dead on arrival, it's DOA. Well, if Nintendo got something big like an Animal Crossing game, like a 3D Mario, then Nintendo could easily come out with the Switch with that 3D Mario or Animal Crossing, and maybe with Mario Kart 8 port, Splatoon port, Pokemon Tournament port, and maybe a surprise in there, and that will be a good enough launch. And then you've always got the the fact that Breath of the Wild is coming out soon to look forward to as well. So yeah, I've got the funny feeling that Breath of the Wild will come out this time next year, but I hope I'm wrong. I mean, the Rogers said that it probably will be a summer release, and I hope that is the case. But yeah, I can see that coming out in November time. But yeah, my thoughts, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, it is disappointing, and obviously I'm hoping that Nintendo have something big there to compensate the loss of Breath of the Wild in the launch, like on the launch day. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I didn't realise this video would go on for this long, but that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.